This is the death of GB News. On the Dan Wootton show, Laurence Fox made a joke about the misogynistic feminist known as Ava Santini, who went on BBC during a talk show and belittled the epidemic of male suicides. Ava Santini can of course do this because she's a feminist. Or she says she's a feminist. I've yet to see any real feminism from that woman. Because if she is an actual feminist, why isn't she sticking up for women in Saudi Arabia? Why isn't she sticking up for women in Iran? Why isn't she sticking up for women in Nigeria or any other African country where women have their genitals mutilated? Why isn't she sticking up for women in Pakistan who are forced into forced marriages? Why isn't she sticking up for women in Bangladesh where there's a rape crisis? She is not a feminist. She's a third-wave feminist, communist activist who hates men. And on the Dan Wootton show, Laurence Fox basically said that no one would want to shag her because who would want to shag her? That loud-mouth, horrible woman. Who the hell would want to shag her? But of course, because she's a woman, the entire left-wing media and the left waffer immediately came after Laurence Fox. And GB News, being the utter weakling it is, bowed completely, in submissiveness to the left, as it did so before, during lockdown, when one of their presenters raised concerns, genuine concerns about the jab, about how it's ineffective, about how it's rushed, and he was immediately axed. So GB News is not a free speech platform, because if they really were, then they would allow free speech. But they don't. They can only talk about certain things. They can't belittle a left-wing activist who just hates men and wants men to commit suicide. They can't show the full extent of the transgender tyranny seducing our children, and they can't show the full extent of the demographical changes happening in most towns and cities in England. But yet they still go on with the lie that this is the home of free speech. They are pushing back against the establishment. Well, they're not. And of course, they're all now grovelling to the feet of the left waffer whilst they fire presenter after presenter. First, it was Laurence Fox who they sacked. Now, they're coming after Calvin Robinson, a Christian preacher on GB News who talks, about the transgender tyranny seducing our children. And talks about how the LGBTQ and the alphabet people are generally just a satanic force of drug-addicted pedophiles who just want to have everything under their control. So he's been axed, and I'm guessing the next person to be axed from GB News will be Neil Oliver. As his monologues, he did amazing. He hits the nail on the head every single time. It won't be long till GB News just resembles every other mainstream media channel. It won't be long till it resembles Sly News or the Ministry of Truth, that is the BBC, or any other news channel. At this point, the only news channels you can trust to tell you the actual true story are supposed fake news channels like InfoWars, or even the news site on the Patriotic Alternative website, or the news produced by Britain First, because they actually tell the true story. Tell a true story about migrant hotels, about rape crises, about the number of actual migrants coming into Britain on a daily basis. Unlike what the mainstream media says, which is that, the migrants are mostly women and children coming in from wars and they're refugees. They're not. Just take one look at them. And of course, Nigel Farage's silence on this is very telling, but that's another topic for another video.